Hello, this is Steve Ramona, your host for Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I want to thank our sponsors, Infone, and with Infone, you can place your business on everybody's cell phone, turn their business into a web app, and with a click of a button, they'll have access to you 24/7. And also Pantheon.fm. Have you ever thought about monetizing and taking your podcast to the next level? Well, Pantheon can do that. Let us show you how. Reach out to Steve Ramona, the host, at infone.co/SR1, and I will go over with you how you can make your podcast really stand out. Let's enjoy the show. Thanks again, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. This is Steve Ramona, your host. I'm super excited. As some of you know, I have about 20 years background in the health fitness industry. And this gentleman actually has an ageless, anti-growing old strategy, ageless living style. We're all aging, we're all getting older, and he slows it down for you. Rico, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Steve. It's my pleasure to be here.
Why ageless living?
Well, because as you well know, science now tells us our genetic potential is to actually stay healthy and live to at least 125. So that should be our lifespan. And yet we know our life expectancy in America is actually coming down recently. It's only about 77. So that means most people are missing out on 30, 40, even 50 years of good living. And so when I realized this, then I began to research and see, really what is the root cause of why so many people are getting old and sick and dying way too young. And we know it's lifestyle. It's probably 80-90% lifestyle. We know that our genes only play a small role in how healthy and how long we're going to live. So that's why I decided to try and learn all I can about what the body's requirements are in order to stay healthy and live a lot longer. So that's why I came up with my Ageless Living Lifestyle. It's a complete mind, body, and spiritual wellness system that I feel will give you the best opportunity to avoid disease in old age and to live a much healthier, energetic, long life.
And you're living proof. How old are you?
I am 80. Well, I like to say I'm not old. I'm 81, but I have a fitness age of 35.
Amen. That's great. I love hearing that. And what do? You told me last time that you do some unique things for your fitness. Inline skating, I think you said. Talk about that.
Well, that's all. It definitely can give you a good workout, especially when you're going uphill. But inline skating is just so much fun. I've been doing it for about 30 some years, and it really works your hips and your glutes, and it's just so much fun. So I'm a big proponent of doing things that are going to be fun, that you enjoy, and something that you can stick with. As you know, so many people have started exercise programs and healthy eating programs, but they don't stick with it. So if you don't like running on a treadmill, and I don't know why you should anyway, I don't recommend it. But some people, they can easily get burned out just doing things because, oh, I got to go do this now. So find things that you can enjoy, even fast walking or swimming or riding a bike or skating. There's plenty of ways to get some good aerobic activity or dancing. There's plenty of ways to get a good aerobic workout that can be fun. And that's something that you can do for all of your life.
Let's jump in, and I love that. Your top 10 anti-growing old strategy. Let's go over your top 10 list.
Okay, and number one is something people may not expect, but this is the number one most important thing, and it's all about the mindset. You have to believe that you can stay healthy all of your life. If you buy into the mainstream normal narrative that that's just the way it is, that we're going to get old and sick and maybe end up in a nursing home and we need to get some long-term care insurance, that's probably what you're going to create, right? Our beliefs create our reality. So if you buy into that, you're pretty much stuck. But you don't have to buy into that. There's a big difference between aging and being old. And I make that distinction and because the definition of aging means to become fully mature, to reach your full potential, like fine aged wine. And that's what we're here for, to age. We can't stop aging. So actually, all this anti-aging stuff is really the wrong terminology, because aging is actually good. But old is another story. Old means to be worn out, used up, unexcited about your life, unable to care for yourself. And those are primarily choices of how you care for your body and how you care for your mind. And so that's the most important thing. You have to believe that you can do something and create something. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen, right?
Right.
So that's the first thing. So you got to change your mindset. You got to realize that you are more powerful than you realize, and that you don't have to buy into the old, to the normal narrative that you're just going to get old and sick and die. No, you can live a lot longer and stay healthy all your life. I'm doing it. You know, my clients are doing it, and everybody can do it a lot better. Okay, but number two is one of the biggest reasons that people don't stick with a healthy eating program or an exercise program, are concerned about how healthy they are, because they're not really living their life purpose. So that's what I realized, you know, after being working with people for over 40 years. If you're not living your life on purpose and you're not excited about your life, how you're using your unique talents to make a difference in the world and serve other people, what's the point? You know, why do you want to live longer anyway if you're not doing something of value? And that's also, you know, Steve, what I like to tell people when they say, well, why should I, you know, want to live longer or be so healthy? Because I believe that we're all spiritual beings here and we're all spiritual beings, and we're here with this physical body, and we have a divine purpose. We all have unique talents and abilities, and we're here to serve other people and do our part in advancing humanity, so we can eventually learn how to live in peace and harmony on this planet. Can you just imagine how amazing it would be if we were just living in peace? We weren't wasting all of our resources on making bombs and killing people. It's just ridiculous. So ridiculous. So you got to find your purpose, something that you're excited about. It's usually your purpose is usually something that, first of all, you know you're good at and you enjoy doing it, and it serves other people. It helps other people. And when you do that, then you're excited about your life, and you realize that your physical body is it's your vehicle for doing what you need to do here on this planet. So you want to it's like your car. You don't let your car run down. You don't put good fuel in it. You don't maintain it. It's not going to take you where you want to go. It's the same with your body, right? Yeah. If you don't take the best care of your body, it's not going to take you where you want to go.
So true.
So number three is you got to take responsibility for your health. You know, we hear about health insurance and health care and all those things. Those really are disease care. They try to do something for you when you're sick. But if you want to be healthy, you got to be responsible for your health. You got to learn what your body requires and what you need to do to take care of yourself. And if you don't, then you're a victim. You're giving up your power and say, well, I don't know, if you want to blame it on the government or the medical system or the food, whatever. No, you're responsible for what you do and how healthy you're going to be. And isn't that true, Steve, in every aspect of life? I think most people know that. If you don't take responsibility for anything you're doing, how successful do you think you're going to be, right? So it's the same with everything, particularly with your health. And number four is to avoid prescription drugs, surgeries, and hospitals, except for emergency. And I mean, there's sometimes, obviously, they can save your life, but we now know too that our mainstream medical system, they're great for acute situations. You get in an accident, they can put you back together, they can save your life, and certain things too. I mean, if you have an emergency, you know, heart attack, they can save your life and all that. But for most of the chronic ailments that we go to see doctors, not only are their methods ineffective, they're downright dangerous. You know, almost drugs and surgeries always have a lot of side effects. And I've seen it happen to so many people when they get into that habit of taking one drug and then they got to take another drug and then they get some more side effects. It's a downward spiral. So I don't take any medications. You don't need medications unless you have some acute, serious situation, and then they can be helpful. So you got to get off the prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs. That's really takes away your vitality, and it's just it's a downward spiral the more drugs you take. Number five, you got to get educated. You got to learn about natural healing methods. Our bodies are geared to be healthy, and they're always striving to be healthy. But it's just our lifestyles and things that we do that are inhibiting our body to get back into balance. And there's been, you know, for centuries and centuries, there's been, you know, things like homeopathic remedies and herbs and so many different healing modalities that can be really helpful for you. And here's a funny thing too, Steve. What's called alternative medicine, that's not alternative, right? That's really should be mainstream medicine. But the big pharma just came in and pushed it aside and said, we're mainstream medicine. And actually, they're an alternative. Sometimes drugs and surgery are an alternative. That's an alternative medicine. Mainstream medicine is learning how to get your body back in balance so it can heal itself, because only the body can heal itself. And then one aspect of that is detoxification. We live in such a polluted environment in the air, the water, chemicals, in our just electromagnetic frequencies all over around. So you need to get educated and learn how. We all need to, on a regular basis, to detoxify our body. And there's so many methods out there, so many different products, and so many people teaching that. So again, as we talked before, there's no lack of information on what you need to do these days, right? We're overwhelmed with information, but there's so many good people out there that are teaching all different kind of healthy things. So you can Google anything these days and find out what you need to do and investigate different things. So not having the knowledge or information is not a good excuse. You can't have that excuse anymore. So you got to get educated and learn what because our health should be our number one priority. If you're not healthy and you don't have a lot of energy and you're not feeling well, how successful can you be in any aspect of your life? That's why this is so important, what we're talking about today, Steve. Okay, and then number 6, of course, food. Food's a big one. We are what we eat and what we assimilate. And so nutrition is a complex subject. I mean, we could have a whole week's workshop on that. But what I did way back when I was really a busy personal trainer, way back in the 90s, and I realized I wasn't eating as well as I want to, because I'm running around here, I'm busy going here. So, and we know that the reason junk food got so popular, because it's fast, it's convenient, but that doesn't mean it's good for us, right? So right. I came up and developed a system where you can make healthy fast food. So that book was called Real Food, Real Fast, where you can make real food real fast. And so if you would just realize that what your body requires is what's called real food. It's what's grown in nature, organic fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and some whole grains and some healthy animal products that are raised naturally without hormones and chemicals. So again, it's just about getting educated, but it's real simple. Real food doesn't come with a label. It doesn't come in a can or a package or a box, right? It's already made perfectly in nature. So if you just make at least 80% of your food real food, and then a few other things, you'll be so well ahead of most everybody else, and it just has such an effect on your body. Yeah. And all this problems that people are having with overweight and diabetes. It really comes down to the food that you're eating. So food is really important. Number 7 is you got to keep moving. You got to move it. I tell people, it's move it or lose it. If you don't move it, you're definitely going to lose it. And I told you, I think we talked about this before too, is that you've heard that saying that sitting is the new smoking. We now know that sitting is so bad for you, and we all sit way too long. So your blood pools in your legs. It really impairs your circulation, puts stress on your heart. It has so many negative effects on your overall health. So again, you don't have to go to a boot camp every day. You have to beat yourself up. In fact, a lot of extreme exercise that people are doing, like running marathons or running centuries, or what I used to do, it's not good for you. It's not healthy. It's an extreme. It's actually wearing age in your body. But you just got to move on a daily basis. You got to do some kind of formal and informal exercise. And I think this is important to know, that they had a recent study. They had 2 groups. It was based on weight loss. And one group, they had them exercise real intensely, aerobic exercise, for 1 hour every day. And then the other group, they said, just keep moving. Don't sit for more than 30 minutes. Get up and move, and just keep active throughout your day. And guess what? At the end of their test, the group who just kept moving throughout their day lost more weight than the people who exercised really hard. Incredible. I know. And so what that shows you is that I always like to ask people, do you have a sedentary lifestyle? And a lot of people who are exercise, they go, oh no, I exercise real hard, an hour every day. I said, but what are you doing the rest of the day? We're sitting in front of our computer. We're sitting on our phone. We're sitting in our car. We're sitting eating. And I have to catch myself too. You got to get up. Don't sit and just stay there. If you do, then you have a sedentary lifestyle and it's actually aging you. So you got to keep moving. Again, you don't have to do anything too extreme. I mean, I believe that, you need to do some strength training at least 2 or 3 times a week, and you need to do some form of aerobic activity every day, and you need to stretch every day for your flexibility. But it doesn't take a lot of time. But again, just get educated, find out what's available for you. I highly recommend get yourself a personal trainer. It's so helpful to get you doing the right things for your goals, and it'll get you on the right track and you won't injure yourself. Then number 8 is just to slow down. Again, Steve, how did we get into this rushed society that I think it has to do a lot with technology, right? Our technology has given us the opportunity. We can accomplish so much, but why do we have to? Why did we get into that? How did we get into that trip of we just, I gotta get this done. I gotta accomplish this. So we stress ourselves out and think we always have to work and we got to accomplish more and more. And that's we now know that what happens in our mental emotional state, first, whatever manifests in our physical body begins in our mental emotional state. And so stress is really just a perception of what's going on in our life. And so all these thoughts that we had that we're stressed out, stress has become kind of like it's kind of like a buzzword. It's almost like it's cool to be stressed, right? Oh yeah, I hear people talking, it's real stressful at work, and yeah, it's kind of stressful at home. And if you're saying that, then you're stuck because then you're in stress. Why are you saying that? Don't say that. You don't have to be stressed. That's just something that you just kind of, again, you bought into that. No, so take some time out, slow down, relax. And we're here to enjoy our life, not to be rushing around and be all stressed out. Yep. What's the point of living if you're all stressed out? It doesn't make any sense at all. So learn how to meditate, learn how to do some breathing exercises. Just take some time out and relax and get out into nature so you can de-stress yourself. That's a big one. I think it's commonly known now too that the biggest root cause of why people go to see doctors is stress related. Absolutely it is. And then number 9 this is a big one again for not losing your brain power and also for not losing your motivation for living longer, is to keep learning. I feel like I'm learning more all the time now than I ever have, and so again, there are so many things that are so amazing to learn about, in nature and in physics and technological and art, music, and so many things to experience and learn about and to enjoy. How could you ever be bored or not learning anything or just get stuck and not doing anything? Keep learning, stay active in your brain. And that's what's going to keep you motivated to live longer and take care of your physical body. And then number 10 is my favorite one of all, is to have fun, enjoy your life. This is so good, Steve. Many years ago, they did a very extensive study on centenarians, people who lived to be 100 or more and were still fairly healthy. And so they asked them a bunch of questions, but one of the questions they asked him was, why do you think you lived this long and stayed pretty healthy? And over 90% of them said, because I enjoyed my life. I wasn't all stressed out. I had fun. I enjoyed my life. If you don't do any of the other ones, I say do number 10. Enjoy your life, have fun. That's the most thing. And I have a saying too, that the more you laugh, the longer you live. Yeah. Smile, have a good time. Life's supposed to, we're going to have a lot of challenges. That's what life's all about. If we didn't have challenges, it wouldn't be worth being here anyway. But we're not supposed to be struggling all the time, so we have our challenges, we work on it, but you can at the same time, you can stay joyful, you can have fun, you can enjoy your life. So if you just follow these basic 10 concepts, it's going to go a long way to giving you a really good, again, I want to mention about health span. It's not so much our lifespan, how long we live, because who knows? I mean, you could get run over by a car, or you could have a stroke too. You could get some kind of poisoning. Who knows? But health span is what's so important, is that you want to be able to stay as healthy and as energetic and as vital as you can be as long as you're alive. So like nowadays, even if people live to be 80, they think that was pretty good. But what was their health span? How long in those 80 years were they vibrant and healthy and energetic? For most people, it's probably at least 20 years. They're just taking medications and not feeling really healthy. So it's all about creating a good health span. And then we don't worry about how long we're going to live. But if you're taking good care of your body and your mind, you're probably going to live a lot longer than most people are today.
I love it. It's a great list. Before I forget, let's do a shout out how somebody can get a hold of you, because this is big. This is going to be able to want to reach out and ask questions or learn more about this list.
Yeah, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, we can send this list to anybody who requests it. I'm happy to get this list to them. But my main website is agelesslivinglifestyle.com. And then you can go and learn all about what we're doing there at Ageless Living and how you can maybe get involved. And also, I have a free aging quiz there. So you can take the quiz and see how well you're aging. And I like to tell people, if you don't like the results, then I offer you a free coaching call where we can discuss what challenges you're having, and I'll do my best to get you on track. So you can go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com and learn a lot more about how you can stay healthy and never be old.
One thing you're an expert at, and we've talked before, is founders, CEOs, head of companies, whether small, medium, or large. What's the impact of what you do in health for them?
Yeah, I've had a good fortune to work with a lot of people like that. I think the important point is here that a lot of people that we look up to, real successful people in business or entertainment or whatever, that we think are really successful, I can guarantee you that these people take time for exercise and work on their health, because they know that this gives them more energy and more time actually, so they can be more productive and they can do what they're really good at. So I encourage you don't get stuck in that thing. Oh, I'm too busy and I don't know if it's for me and all that. No, I tell you, the most successful people take the time to exercise and to eat healthy and to work on their health, because again, they know that's what's going to help them to be not only more successful, but to live longer so they can enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's just common sense. Maybe it's uncommon sense, right?
Yeah, it could be. And it's amazing what you're talking about, what you do. I think every founder owner knows that there's a lot to what they do, but they do want to spend time with family and friends. But they
Yeah,
make the excuse of, like you said, busy or don't have time, where health will give them more time because it'll be more productive.
more
So it's
productive, have
intuitive,
more
right?
vitality, right?
Not
And
counterintuitive, it's intuitive. And I love that.
and I
What
do. I was just going to say I do have
go ahead.
a new online wellness coaching program for CEOs and executives.
Oh, there we go.
So you can find that too on the website. If you just go to agelesslivinglifestyle.com/executives. So this is a course that I'm going to work with you online, no matter where you live, and we're going to develop your personal ageless living lifestyle, and we're going to get you implemented, and we're going to get the results that you desire.
Well, let's do this. Let's have every CEO, the first three that reach out to you, I'm going to give them a $20 Amazon gift card. They can buy a gift for their kids. I know their
Yeah,
money's not
thank
an
you,
issue, but I'll reward them
thank you,
because I know
Steve.
a lot of CEOs, and I will introduce you to some that I know. And I dealt with, because I'm a self-employed. We kind of get stuck in that rat race of working, and we miss lunch.
Yeah,
We miss our workout today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Heard that all the time in the health industry, and I love
yeah,
what you said. There's no excuses. Just get up and walk.
yeah,
We can make it simple, and the harder you work out, the worse off it is for you. It's all about the food. Was it
yeah.
exercise 20% of this whole thing?
Yeah, it is mostly about the food, particularly for, well, I don't even like to call it weight loss, because obviously, if weight loss worked, we'd be a nation of skinny people. Because the weight loss industry is like, I think it's several $100 billion industry, and so all these what we call pills, powders, packaged foods, and preposterous promises. If they worked, we'd be a nation of thin people. So what you have to do is you have to get the whole concept of weight loss out of your mind, because we don't like to lose anything anyway, right? And most people lose the weight and they gain it right back. So when I tell people, forget about weight loss. When you get your body functioning healthier and fitter and more energetic, the weight that will show up will be the right weight for you. So forget about, you got to get your body fit and healthy, and then you won't have to be concerned about your weight.
Well, I love this subject. We're running out of time. Thank you for being on. This list is unbelievable. People go out on his website and get it. Don't forget the Amazon gift card, you CEOs, founders. Reach out to him, ask questions, especially if you know you're struggling. You know, your problems with your marriage, children, employees. This is where you can go. It's an outside resource to help you grow your business. And that's why doing business with a servant's heart is what Rico does. He makes you healthier. You can serve better. He served you. And it's just a great, endless loop of great positivity. With that, I'd love you to leave one more piece of advice for the audience that you learned over these incredible years you've had in the fitness industry.
Yeah, what I've learned is the number one thing is no matter what condition you're in, no matter what your age, no matter what health challenges you may have, you can greatly improve. You just got to get started. I've gotten people out of wheelchairs, Steve. It's not that hard. It sounds like a great thing, but it wasn't really that hard. You just got to get people having confidence that they can do it and strengthen their muscles and get more flexible. So the good news is no matter where you're at today, you get started and you're going to be amazed at how well you can improve and how much better you're going to feel, how much more energy you can have. It doesn't matter what your age is either. I've worked with people in their 80s and 90s and all ages. So just get started and do it. You're going to be really happy that you did.